If the process feels frustrating instead of fulfilling, it's not because you're undisciplined, it's because you've been chasing the wrong thing. Here's what frustration is actually telling you. Frustration, it's not a motivation problem, it's simply a perception problem. Your expectations aren't matching the reality. The feedback is telling you that you're trying to either achieve the unachievable, which is constant ease, all support, all gain without pain, or trying to avoid the unavoidable, challenge, discomfort, uncertainty. Frustration isn't proof that there's something wrong with you, it's proof that you're misinterpreting the process. So let me help you understand that a realistic expectation is grounded, it's both-sided, and if you expect yourself to experience more pain than pleasure, more support than challenge, more ease than difficulty, more comfort than discomfort, essentially more positive and less negative, then that's where frustration is going to come from, first and foremost. The second part to that is understanding that if you're expecting yourself to live outside of your values, your priorities, the things that are most important to you, most meaningful, most inspiring, if you're trying to live outside of your values and inside someone else's, you're going to feel frustrated. And that's not the problem, that's the symptom. The symptom is telling you and guiding you back to priority. Stop trying to live by someone else's highest values and instead honour and appreciate your own first and foremost. Know yourself, be yourself, and love yourself. If you're not doing that first and foremost before you're trying to change, you're going to be frustrated. You're constantly going to be frustrated because you're never going to live up and meet someone else's standard and expectation. You can't live outside of your values. You can try, but you're going to continue experiencing this negative feedback loop to let you know, whether you're conscious of it or not, what you're trying to do isn't you. So if you find yourself feeling frustrated, first ask yourself and check, am I expecting more positive without the negative? Am I expecting to achieve a goal without embracing these challenges along the way? Am I expecting ease without difficulty? Am I trying to live inside someone else's values? Something I feel like I should do, I have to do, I need to do, I must do, but don't truly want to or would love to. And if any of that's true for you, then this is giving you a hint into what the frustration is telling you. And I'm speaking to you, but really speaking to myself, because I've started this video because I asked myself, how can I stop making content creation so frustrating? How can I make it more fulfilling? And with that question, I asked it for myself and then I answered it myself as well. And it's took me to actually sit here and talk to you about frustration, fulfillment, to really help myself understand that my expectations are unrealistic. For me personally, coming into creating this, I have these high expectations of myself, which then creates this perfectionism and frustration and constantly never living up to the standard and expectation I set for myself. And that doesn't mean there's something wrong with me, as much as it might feel like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I just do this? Why is it that everything I do isn't good enough? It's not to do with me, and it's not to do with what I'm doing, but it's everything to do with my expectations on myself. I'm setting myself up for failure because my expectations were too high to begin with. There's a saying, trying to achieve the unachievable or avoid the unavoidable is the source of all human suffering. And the same applies to me as it does to you. So again, achieve the unachievable. It's that constant ease, all support, all good, no bad, all nice, all successful, always being accepted, never being rejected. It's like, no, you don't get success without failure. You don't get ease without difficulty. You don't get growth without challenge. Every single goal that you set for yourself is a series of obstacles, opportunities to grow, to overcome, stepping stones towards your goal. Without them, you would never achieve your goal. I mean, think about it, like any success you've had in your life, whether it's work, whether it's in relationships, or maybe even with your health, yourself, the gym, they came with constant failures, constant mistakes, constantly getting things wrong, trying to get the outcome, whether that's career success or a new or deeper fulfilling relationship or new connections, or even just being in a routine with the gym or building muscle, losing fat, let's say, right? You don't get that without making mistakes. It's through making the mistakes that you get that. You don't deserve it until you've made the mistakes. And I know that sounds harsh, but think about it, like, you need to right your wrongs. You need to make wrongs to make it right. And you can't make it right without the wrongs. My point is that there's two sides to everything. Two sides to everything that you want, to everything that you're going through. Even stress, like take the things that are stressing you out now, that are draining your energy, that are leaving you feeling frustrated. There's even a blessing in all that. There's a lesson in all that. For example, it's helping you self-regulate. It's helping you realise the importance to actually take a breath, stop, pause, slow down and reflect and think. It's giving you the opportunity to go and find the upside, how it's serving you. It's helping you become more resilient, more adaptable, stronger. Because when you go through this right now and you look back in months, years to come, you'll realise that the pain is what led to the change. Your bodies drive your values, the things that are most missing, most painful. That creates the drive within you to then go and take actions, make decisions in order to change that. So don't wish away your drive. Most people aren't burnt out by effort, they're burnt out by attachment. And again, this is the whole unrealistic expectation thing. If you think about fears, for example, every fear comes with a fantasy. Fear is the negative, fantasy is the positive. The greater your fears, the greater your fantasy is going to be too. And the greater your fantasy, the greater your fears will be to match that. They come as a complementary pair of opposites, like a magnet with two sides, a coin with two sides. You don't get one without the other. That's the positive and that's the negative that comes together, right? So this attachment to an only positive outcome, wanting that, seeking that positive outcome, while trying to get rid of the negative. I don't want the negative. I don't want that, but I want that. Well, it's like, try getting a coin with one side. You don't, you get the heads and the tails with it, you get the good and the bad, you get the positive and the negative. So if you want that coin, you need to accept both. If you only accept one-sided coins, you'll have no coins, right? And the same way goes for your goals. If you're wanting all the positives without any of the negatives, then you're going to continue feeling frustrated. Instead, embrace both sides of pain and pleasure in the pursuit of your purpose, your progress, the goal that you want to achieve. When you obsess over outcomes, it feels like you're never doing good enough. You're always falling short. You're never ahead and you're always behind. The effort you put in, you don't see the return, so it feels pointless. You take obstacles personally as if, like, why am I experiencing all this bad stuff, all this challenging stuff, all this pain, all this discomfort? Well, it's not personal, stop taking it personally. Those obstacles are the opportunities, but you're just only perceiving the negative spin on it because you haven't had the opportunity to train your brain to actually see and believe that every obstacle is an opportunity. And now that's a belief that I hold dearly. I truly believe that every single obstacle in my life is an opportunity to grow. Think about the obstacles that you've overcame in your past in your life. Every single one of them, they might have been in the way of your progress and your growth. They might have been holding you back, making things tough, making life hard. But when you really look through the lens that this obstacle was actually an opportunity, and you reflect back on every obstacle that you've been through, Think about all the biggest achievements you've had, right? Think of the obstacles you had to face and overcome in order to achieve that. Only then, when you really reflect on those past achievements, those past moments, you'll realise what I'm saying is true. Those were the opportunities. The very thing that you avoid is the very thing that once you face, and if you face it, will lead the path to your greatest growth, your greatest potential improvement. And now that's a question that I ask myself most days. What is the biggest constraint in the way of my greatest potential improvement? Sit with it, ask, and you'll get clear what the big obstacle is. And that obstacle is the very thing that must be addressed. And the same goes for you in your health and fitness goals. If you're avoiding managing your nutrition, what you're eating, if you're avoiding taking the time to go to the gym, go on a walk, whatever it is, you already know intuitively inside what that thing is. That's the very obstacle that you need to face and embrace and go through to grow through. Because if you don't, you stay stuck, you stay frustrated, you keep spiraling in a rut, wanting to break free, but feeling like, oh, there's just something wrong with me, I just can't do it. There's reasons you're avoiding it. And again, this is where mindset coaching comes in. This is where having conversations inside my program come into it. Because we all know what to do to build muscle and lose fat, right? It's the actual doing it that's the hard bit. And that's where the mental and emotional support comes in. By asking quality questions, by having that accountability, that support, that guidance to break through it. And this is why I invest in coaches myself, because I need someone to call me out on my bullshit. So I think this all comes down to really detaching from the outcome and being more attached to the process. Because when you focus on the outcome, you don't necessarily help yourself achieve that outcome. But when you focus on the process that leads to that outcome, you're more likely to achieve that outcome. You understand? There's action steps to be taken, there's obstacles to be overcome in order to achieve what you say you want to achieve. The only way you're going to achieve that is by actually focusing on and doing those actions consistently with intention and intensity. As in each and every day, week, you're showing up and you're doing the thing. You're doing the thing. You're doing the thing without seeing any outcome yet. And it's that delayed gratification. You only get that outcome after a consistent implementation of the action. So there must be a bit of belief and trust in, here's what I'm doing and this is where it's going. And if there's not that, then again you're going to struggle. It's like, I want this thing, I want this thing, I want this thing. It's like saying you want to climb up the top of this building, but there's no ladder. How do you get up there? You need to climb the ladder, right? You need to take the first step, second step, third step, fourth step, all the way up. And then you get up. And then that's how you get the outcome. By focusing on that process, the steps that lead to that. So, if you have to white knuckle it, you don't value it. You can't sustainably force yourself to do what you don't perceive is beneficial to you and what matters most. I've tried this so many times, like being told what I should do and I have to do and I need to do and I must do in order to achieve the thing that I really genuinely would love to. Like, for example, building a business. Like, I've been told I have to do content. I have to send DMs. I have to be putting myself out there, having conversations. And I have to do all these X, Y, Z's, all this shit I don't want to be doing. But forcing yourself constantly to do that, constantly draining your energy, feeling tired, feeling fed up, sick of the work that you need to constantly do. How long are you realistically going to keep doing that? How long are you going to live like that? Showing up every day like, oh fuck, can I go do this? Think about going to work. If you hate going to work, think how unfulfilling, how draining, how frustrating that's going to be. It's going to be a shit time, right? It's not going to be very fun, very enjoyable. But what if I told you there was another way? You can turn that frustrating, energy draining thing into something deeply meaningful, fulfilling and inspiring to you. So without me going down a rabbit hole of how to do that, this is something I can help you with in the program. You can change whatever you do. You can start to rewire your perceptions to perceive how whatever you do, whether it's in work, whether it's at home, whether it's with your relationships and life in the gym, you can ask the quality questions to start to see that in a way that serves you, fulfills you, the things that matter most to you. And the more links you create in your mind, the more energized you feel to go and do that thing. Like me doing this right now. I didn't necessarily want to get in front of a camera and sit and speak and record myself, but I liked it to what's most important to me: my coaching, my business, my self-mastery, my connections. So here I am speaking and talking to the camera, right? Because I gave it meaning, I gave it purpose, and I gave it an intention. And I liked it so much to the point where it's like, right, this is the priority, this is why this matters to me, essentially. And that's what you're doing, because when the why is big enough, the hows take care of themselves. It doesn't matter how to go about it. You just need to understand and connect with why. What makes it so important and meaningful to you. Because if that why is deeper and greater than the resistance that you feel and face in order to achieve that thing, then that laziness, quote unquote laziness, you overcome it. We simply label ourselves as lazy when we are comparing what we're doing to some sort of expectation or fantasy or what we think we should be doing or have to be doing or must be doing. But I don't think laziness is productive. I don't think that's the truth and that's the reality. I think that laziness is simply an unawareness. You're not conscious of the reasons for you being, again, quote unquote, lazy. If you feel resistance and you label yourself as lazy, then there's just simply no value link between the thing you're trying to do and what matters most to you. Or at least there's something more important to you that's taking up your time and energy and your focus instead. The point here is that discipline collapses when your values aren't linked with what you do. If you have a goal, there's actions you need to do to achieve that goal. If you don't value those actions, you won't achieve the goal. It's as simple as that. Now, fulfillment doesn't come after the goal. It comes during aligned action. So fulfillment just means feeling full. Now, we feel most fulfilled when we can perceive how whatever we're doing is helping us fulfill our highest values, the things that are most important to us. Now, if you haven't done before, I recommend you do this, but Dr. John D. Martini, a human behaviour specialist, has a 13-step value determination questionnaire. I recommend you all do it, right? Because these 13 questions uncover what your true highest values are. And if you don't know what they are, then you don't essentially know who you are. You don't know what your priorities are. You don't know what matters most and is most important to you until you really reflect and look at what your life demonstrates. How do you fill your space, your time, your energy? How do you spend your money? Where are you most ordered and organised, disciplined, reliable and focused, inspired? What do you love to talk about most with others and with yourself? What's your most consistent, persistent, long-term goals that show evidence of becoming true? These all give a hint to what you value most, and once you have that certainty, this is first, second, and third on my hierarchy, my priorities. You can then start to see, well, where does your goal actually fit on your values? And if it's not on that, say, top 4 or 5, the likelihood and probability of you actually taking those actions to achieve that goal are less likely, because all your time and energy is going to go into these highest priorities. Whether that's work, whether that's family, home life, relationships and friendships, if health's way down after that, and you can't see how those actions around your health, your fitness, yourself, and how focusing on that area are going to enhance these other areas, again, the probability of you actually taking those actions decreases. The probability of you taking on those challenges, facing those obstacles, they decrease. Because, well, there's no meaningful link to you. These other things are more important. This isn't as important, at least not right now, until you have a high value on that area and on the actions that are proven to fulfill that. Makes sense? I hope it makes sense. So, fulfillment, you want to see the kind of cause and effect, right? Because every effect, every outcome that you currently have in your life, there's been a cause. There's things that you've done or not done that have led to these outcomes, whether that's the positive or the negative. I think taking that ownership and responsibility and just owning the fact that, yeah, my circumstance, I don't necessarily want to say my fault, because then that's assuming that it's all wrong, but it's not wrong. It just is what it is, right? There's good and bad, even in the worst situations. Even in the best situations, there's good and bad. You just having that balanced perspective on the reality. This is how you stay disciplined, reliable, and focused. This is how you stay present and energized and not completely drained with your mind racing you, running you, and staying stuck in a rut. Like, appreciating and embracing the both sides is what I believe paves the way for a more grateful heart, experience more love, less judgment of yourself, of others, and just overall more contentment, even when you're going through it and you're growing through it. You know what I mean? Understand that your challenges are what lead to the progress, and know why embracing these challenges matters most to you. The process becomes rewarding now when you can perceive how being in the process right now fulfills you. Not later, not down the line, not once you've achieved the goal, but now as you take the actions, how it's actually serving you. The biggest shift is this: stop treating the process like a toll booth, something that you just need to go through and pass through and then that's you. Because there is no future moment where a challenge disappears. There is only action, decision, and your perception of this moment, here and now. What you're doing, what you're going through, what you're experiencing, your circumstance, your situation, how you perceive that will make all the difference on how you respond to it, or whether you just react to it. React, respond. The difference is in how you're perceiving it. If you're in an emotional state, by having this imbalanced perception, this is all bad, why is this happening to me, this should be happening to me, this should be, all that noise, that keeps you stuck, it keeps you disempowered. Whereas if you can perceive the balance and how all of this is serving you, you can appreciate it for what it is. There's no noise running you, you're just present, right here, right now, embracing both sides as you go through it. Not try to force change and control things out with your control. Try to control the uncontrollables, avoid the unavoidables. This is another source of the suffering, right? This is the unrealistic expectation that so many of us have that create this frustration and this despair and potentially even this depression. Like, comparing our current reality to the fantasy rather than just abandoning that fantasy and appreciating the reality for what it really is. So blessed. So when the process is valued, the outcomes stop controlling you because you take your power back. You stop putting your power out there on this future moment and you start putting it back here. And then once it's back here, you empower yourself. You've just plugged in energy leak. Mentally and emotionally, you're present, you're centered, physically, you're energized, you're enthusiastic because you can see how this right here is leading to and fulfilling that over there. You're on your way. You're well on your way. So, I want you to understand that you're not behind. You're in the process. Whatever you're going through right now, it's a part of your process, your journey. Not mine, not your pals, not someone else you see on social media. You're in your own process, on your own journey, living by your own values, with your own challenges, your own obstacles are yours. Own them. Honour them. Be grateful for the opportunity that these challenges, these obstacles are actually giving you and granting you. Because they're all here for a reason. What is that reason? Don't wish them away. Find how all this stressful stuff, all this chaos, all this noise, what's it teaching you? How does it serve you? How does it benefit you? Not is it serving you? Is it benefiting you? how is it benefiting you? And now that unlocks a whole different change in your state, mentally and emotionally, and it'll help you just be more present and more grateful for the process. You don't need to be inspired every day. You just need to be aligned in your perceptions, your decisions, and your actions. And that right there, that's how you live an empowered, inspiring life. So ask yourself today, how specifically is whatever I'm experiencing right now helping me fulfill what matters the most? The quality of your life depends on the quality of questions you ask. Start asking yourself better quality questions. Now, if you enjoyed what I've said here today, and if you're stuck forcing yourself through goals that should feel supportive and not draining, then message me. We'll reconnect the process to what actually matters to you. I'll show you how I do it with my clients. Just DM me stuck. Thank you for listening.